Welcome everyone to the Mordheim Madness Season 1 and the Group E, where we'll be momentarily watching Uddhava take on DaddyCool. Uddhava plays the Mercenaries, as you can see, and DaddyCool plays the Sisters of Sigmar. We are blessed with Count Steinhard's Palace once again, which means that it might be a long game. At least, let's see, there are 3 deployments in this map. One of them is a bit like Rivals in the Ruins, the other one is spread out on the opposing sides of the map, and the third one is like an ambush. So we have a 66% chance to see a really long game here, and I did record Uddhava play against Slanemore in the previous tournament, a match that took 3.5 hours. So I'm just gonna say this right away, before I even start this game, that I will be editing the game live. So whenever I see the enemy, which will be DaddyCool, since I will be watching this game from Uddhava's viewpoint, I will pause the recording and then bring it back on whenever something happens. Just to shorten down the game a bit. So if you're wondering why there are a few jumps, that's it. So what can we say here? Uddhava is going in the last tournament and all of the previous tournaments. He has had a bit of a rough patch, and that has mostly been attributed to him playing a PvE warband. And for this tournament, he said he will come back with an invincible warband and do really well for himself. So it will be interesting to see. He is extremely lucky when it comes to tournament organization. In the last tournament, he actually lost his he got a walkover win in his first game, lost to me in his second game, went in, was the favorite against Slanemore, lost that game. He ended up third because of the walkover, and because of that he qualified for the deathmatch stage, which was a round off to before getting into the playoff system for all third place finishers. And in the deathmatch system he ended up getting another walkover, so he got to the round of 16 without winning a single match, where he did a horrible display against Talon, doing all kinds of mistakes that you can ever do. And in this tournament he has similarly drawn the luck of the draw. He ended up in Group E, one of the 2 groups that are really blessed with some luck, because we played the double elimination playoff system. It means that 2 of these groups will end up in the winner's bracket. All of the winners in each group end up in the winner's bracket, but also the seconds of Group A and Group E ends up in the winner's bracket, and Uddhava just happened to be in one of those groups. Ending up in the winner's bracket is really big, because it means that from the winner's bracket you need to lose 2 games to go out of the tournament. So you get another shot at it, so to speak. We're about to start the game here momentarily. We wish both of the players good luck, and we really do hope that there is an ambush and not one of the other 2 maps available. Hope you see a good game, and let's start. Alright, here we are. Both warbands deploy at opposite ends of the map and prepare to face each other. The count conflict exactly the same as we had in the quiz game, and yes, we're a little bit disappointed. This might be a really long game, but as I said, we're gonna edit the game live and see what happens. Will be interesting to see what Uddhava is bringing here. He's playing with the blue icons, that's why his name is in blue. Massive map, this one. We can see from the top left corner that Uddhava has a slight morale advantage in 207 to 166, and we also know that he has a rating advantage of about 600, which is quite a lot. 3,600 to 3,000 or so. And that could indicate that DaddyCool is bringing an impressive. Impressives almost all, well, they do always lower your rating a bit. We'll see if that's the case, or if DaddyCool is just completely underpowered in this game. C2 marksman, 2 warriors, 2 champions, a leader warrior priest, a flagellant, wait to see the last, well, we have a warlock as well, and the last hero for Uddhava in his invincible warband will be warrior priest, Mush. Does the deployment done so far? Fireball binding light armor of lead. It's gonna do really well if he wants to keep the Sisters of Sigmar here of DaddyCool from advancing too far on his position, allowing his range to do some work. Seems to be with double warrior priest, he will have a lot of support, which means arm of righteousness, deny the heretic, and healing, of course. Get to see the flagellant move here, sorry. See Uddhava taking to heart here that he's checking the minimap all the time when it is his opponent's turn. He did not do that in the only game that we have uploaded of him against Talon. So it's nice to see that he's bringing it up to a more competitive level here. Of course, one of the main advantages of checking the minimap is that you can see all of the traps going off, and you can see all of the area spells going off, so you can from that decipher where your enemy is at. And if you take a look at the initiative ladder, you can also determine which unit is moving and keep that in mind. You can also, which we should probably have done here, is to count the number of units that DaddyCool has available to him. You always want to do that at the start, so you can see if your opponent is bringing an impressive or not, and then you can sort of be mentally prepared for that and not be surprised when a maiden suddenly charges in at you. Seems to be moving with all of his units here towards the left side of the map. Wrapping up the first turn here. With nothing actually happening, we only see a bit of movement towards the western side of the map by Uddhava.
A new round has
the
started.
Initiative ladder, and it seems that DaddyCool is not using an impressive, which is unfortunate for DaddyCool. I wonder how underpowered he really is. He might actually be using units that are not level 10. We'll see that as the units go down. Or it could be using, you know, units that don't have purple equipment or fully enchanted equipment, might be missing a few consumables. It's been a bit odd. We decided early on that we were going to do full consumables in this tournament, and then we had a bit of a change of heart, because full consumables can be a bit dull sometimes. It has ups and downs. And then we had a suggestion, which was a brilliant suggestion, a really fine rule, that we can only use blue and white consumables. And we immediately jumped on that and implemented it, but it has had the unfortunate effect that most people don't actually have only blue and white consumables with them. They might have less than that, because it takes a bit of time to grind up, and unfortunately all of the warband files are lacking in most of the blue consumables. So we might actually see a bit more of a power gap between some players compared to others. And I think that for the next Mordheim Madness for Season 2 it might be best to acquiesce to some of the wishes and just completely forget about consumables. Just do a no consumable tournament. We've had a few of them before. They have not been having too many players, and especially not high level players with maximized warbands, and they have always been rivals in the Ruins tournaments exclusively. So having the random setup will probably be good for the tournament, because random deployment could offset some of the difficulties that the rivals in the Ruins tournaments with no consumable experience, which was only hit and run attacks with magic casters. I also tend to like that we are using the story map missions here, and that the maps are already preset, so you can plan a little bit ahead, and in this way you do avoid using the gameplay options. Oh, we do see a unit from DaddyCool, that's cool. It's the matriarch. Because if you do a random deployment fully random, then you will get random gameplay as well. That means all of the story missions have certain elements to them that can be considered extremely unfair. For example, this map has that all the way around here in the center you can't cast divine spells, and arcane spells always succeed. That's one of the gameplay options, and it's just really a big mechanical penalty, and I think that it's good to avoid the mechanical penalties. We'll see how that goes. That's why this tournament is avoiding sneak attacks, not because of the way the warbands start out. They could just as well have been haunted in darkness, you know, scattered all the way around, dependent on the initiative ladder. It's because the sneak attack applies a mechanical disadvantage to one player only, and this is sometimes a bit unfair. And that's why we went ahead and for this tournament have purely maps decided well in advance, so that we can avoid the gameplay options that the story map missions offer. If you move around if Uddhava would move around the cursor, you could actually see where that matriarch went. One of the bugs with the game, I'm sure you've seen it before in some of the previous tournament games. I will see more experienced users do that all the time. Corporal Kalamekar, I kind of like the name. Exhaustion is a very good skill. Most players tend to use exhaustion quite a lot on their various leaders and heroes. Actually, we can just let us bring up that skill right here and see what it does. Exhaustion, once per turn restore 3 strategy points. So it's really good, and even if you have the normal exhaustion, it costs you 30 wounds, so mastering it is just a bonus. It doesn't actually cost you more like Adrenaline Rush does.
A new round has started.
A new round has started. Alright, let's see if we can see an enemy here. We see 5 wordstones picked up. I wonder why DaddyCool is picking up wordstones. Maybe he's hoping for positive effects. Seems strange to me. This is an exhibition tournament, which means you don't get to keep anything, and Here we see Uddhava using exactly what I was saying here, moving the cursor around, seeing the character. If he holds the cursor there, you can actually see which units are yet unrevealed. Oh, we're still picking up wordstone for DaddyCool. Let's see if Uddhava does that. We see that the matriarch is already suffered a bit. Yeah, Antioluden comes up in the bottom left corner. You see it, so he knows that what kind of henchman that is. It's a novice. -2 movement, you could probably capitalize on that and cast it. But it still keeps picking up wordstone and getting negative effects. Just holding the cursor here can reveal what what unit is moving for the enemy, and then you can see sort of what the warband is, even though they're not revealed on the minimap yet. Very good thing to know. Esther Aldenberg, we see another novice. That was actually a bit worrying. You saw Esther there that she has 25% armor. 25% armor. How do you get 25% armor? Well, it could be cloth and shield of iron. We'll have to see when it comes to helmets and stuff, but it could indicate maybe a blue armor. Ilian von Katz is clearly using purple light armor as well as a helmet. See that from the stun resistance and the armor value here. And she seems to be level 10, so that's good. Yeah, without the impressive, there is something about DaddyCool's warband that is less developed than Uddhava's, and if I remember correctly, DaddyCool was saying in the Steam forums that he was not fully leveled up yet, that he was only here for the experience and for the fun of it, and very valid reason. I wish that the games were more even, and the warband files were supposed to promote that, and we have more maximized warbands in this tournament than ever before. But I would hope that we can one day reach the point where all of the warbands are maximized, and maybe we need to go the full step and just get warband files that have level 10 characters with all of the skills and attribute points not yet spent on them, so people can just tailor their warbands on and just go. Maybe that is the future. The reason why we haven't done those files is because if you do them, you can't include any of the DLC units in them, or the DLC warbands themselves, because it allows you to play with them without owning the appropriate DLCs. But yes, for the basic 4 warbands and all of the basic units, and there was actually an idea that came up before this tournament that we might use for the next tournament, which is that we might limit DLC units, and especially cross warband units, so we get to be more pure warbands. And I think we should actually go the full step, like no consumables and just pure warbands. So for example, the mercenaries here that will be playing could only use marksmen and warriors as henchmen, and has to use the Youngblood, Warlock and Champion as well as the Captain. And those are the only units that he has available to him, except for the Ogre then, of course, the Impressive. So limiting it a little bit, so that you can only use 7 units, 7 different kinds of units in each warband. I think it might be a good idea actually, because there is a bit too much, and Uddhava is capitalizing on it. You see that he is he says that this is going to be his really PvP warband that he feels is invincible, and we'll see about that later on when he has a more level opponent. But you can see that he picked up that warrior priests are really good. They are actually a bit too strong maybe, especially with all of their support, and having 2 of them is a very powerful way of exploiting that. could potentially get 480 wounds of healing per turn from those two. This is sure to turn the battle around, especially if you have lots of heavy armor, so you guys are difficult to take down, and we did see that. So, see what this unit does here. Then enter a dodge stance, surprisingly. Yeah, you can't even you can't shoot from there anyways. And if you do get too close, if you run around an object and the enemy you are facing is an Overwatch, then you won't actually trigger. Overwatch needs to have a little bit of a distance between it and its target to actually trigger. Gonna go see if DaddyCool has left some units exposed. He might have. We have seen the Matriarch, but DaddyCool might be familiar with hiding units. He has hid the Matriarch behind the statue at the very least. Scholz, 35%, 291 wounds, that's a bit odd. Considering here to leave the marksman in Overwatch, but from experience Uddhava might know that if he does that, he might get one single shot off and then all of the purifiers come cycling in and kill him, so he needs to be careful. See all of Uddhava's units grouped up, neat and tight. See, Anti-Luden has actually moved forward here a bit. -2 movement range as well. So she will have difficulties moving away. I think we might see Anti-Luden here being completely destroyed on a first kill. Unless DaddyCool's entire warband is backing that unit up. Yeah, you see Anti-Luden, she has 10% armor. Not a good sign. If she has a helmet on, that means she has a blue or white armor as well. Searching around, but you can only see the units that you have already been revealed on the minimap once. So that was the 2 novices and the matriarch, which is the only one you can hover your cursor around and find. A lot of Uddhava's units don't have too much in the way of wounds, but they do have quite good armor, many of them, especially the 2 warriors. Coming in at 50%, and you know that will be buffed with Armor of Righteousness from the Warrior Priests, or Shield of Fate here, so it's an option. See what that does, increase magic resistance by 25%. So Uddhava let us know. Bad luck here. Failed the spell. 3% chance of a curse. Will you want to try that again? I think he's worried a bit about purifiers and the matriarch raining comments down on him. And it's a very valid concern, since that's usually what sisters are about. You get a lot of tanky characters, and then you just sit back very defensively and rain comments down on the approaching enemy. With the occasional single smuggler doing a bit of damage as well, or a marksman. I think the tactic will only be enhanced if we do the Mordheim Season 2 with no consumables and only pure warband units, and they won't have any range available to them unless it's comets. It makes the sisters a bit more predictable. Maybe he's trying to catch up here with the rest of the troops. Gonna use exhaustion to really catch up, losing 30 wounds. One of the best strength from the mercenaries definitely comes from their henchmen. The warriors are extremely tanky, and in this game henchmen and heroes end up at the same amount of wounds. They're almost about as equally difficult to kill sometimes, depending on skills, and really melee resistant, heavily armored warrior that gets a bonus to hit whenever it does hit, a ridiculous plus 20. They can be really damaged and they can pack a bit of punch. They get a lot of martial points, so they can have a decent critical hit chance as well, so they're not teethless. And then you have the marksman, which is probably the best henchman in the game. Very versatile, always doing damage. They shoot 3 times per turn. That's around 150 damage a turn. Some heroes do less than that, so very strong unit. Seems to be standing still a bit, see what DaddyCool is about to do. Anti-Luden is still in her place. Oh yeah, Repentance. So she's a sister. Picked up a wordstone, got +2 movement, and got -2 movement from the wordstone. She might have a little bit of speed and to move away. They seem to be a bit spread out, DaddyCool, since I'm worried for him that he might be spreading himself out too much, and Uddhava, who has the mechanical power in his favor and grouping up all of his units, can be really dangerous. And there is very little in the arsenal of the Sisters of Sigmar that can do area damage. Unlike what Uddhava has available to him with the Warlock and the Fireball. It would have been glorious to throw in a Fireball against all of Uddhava's units if he were the mercenaries. Trying to catch up with Mulshare as well, but careful not to stand in any windows so that
a new round has started.
Here we see the Fireball, indicating that Quick Ben doesn't actually have he only has 18 intelligence. You see that from the intelligence damage. And here we start off the assault against Anti-Luden. Having thrown in a sticky sludge as well earlier on. Good bit of damage. I think it's Antje Luden's turn right now, and she will not be encouraged to stay around. Indeed, she's moving away as far as possible. Remember that the Sisters of Sigma can also heal up their units. Might be an indication of well, not an indication, but it might be an option for DaddyCool. They're gonna stay this far away from each other. It's actually a bit boring that the map works out like this. I worry a bit about the final of the tournament, if it's gonna be like this. There are not too many matches played on this map, but the final is also played on this map by the luck of the draw. But it could also make it a bit exciting, you know, since one of the options, as we said earlier, is one warband surrounds the other around the statue, so it could be a really fast-paced final too, so you can't just skip out on initiative. See a few skills here. Uddhava is keen to show them all off. You're very proud of the skills. If you want to build a flagellant just like that, you can go back and pause the video and look for yourself. See, but I feel that Sori has to do something good for himself before we start copying the build. Lurking around in buildings constantly. You can see that when it came to the earlier tournaments that the Mordheim community had, they almost always did rivals in the ruins, and you can see that the game sort of planned out a bit like this. People hiding in buildings all the time, and of course the more inexperienced players just ran at the more experienced players and got slaughtered all the time, especially with the mechanical power difference. But I kind of favor random deployment because it throws the game into a loop a bit more. You have more unusual... Oh, we see here, Warband the Bridge Price lost his idol, -16. So DaddyCool went straight for the idol here with the Matriarch. Possibly? I think it's the Matriarch's turn right now. That could also mean that DaddyCool is all over the place. If Uddhava would just move ahead and take a bit of damage for catching up here from exhaustion, but if Uddhava would just go out there, I think he could catch a lot of units. And with the mechanical power advantage he has, playing careful is all fine and well, but I don't think he's going to lose this. We'll have to see just how bad it is with DaddyCool's units though. He does seem to have some level 10s, and he does seem to have some purple items on many of his units, so it's not that you don't want to put too much risk, that's true. Healing Hand coming up here. Healing Hand is a good spell. Let's actually...
A new round has started.
And you can see here that it restores 80 wounds, the most powerful spell of them all when it comes to healing, but this only has a range of 3 meters, which makes all kinds of increase the range of spells so much more powerful. And the Matriarch is next to the wagon, you do know that. Not wanting to put himself out there, we saw Antje Luden with only 100 wounds left remaining, still has 100 wounds and is moving right now. So the first morale hit goes to Uddhava. Gonna even it out maybe. DaddyCool still needs to produce a few kills, which might not be too difficult with comets. I get why Uddhava is a bit scared of them, since many of his units have not gone for hardy or much in the way of toughness. And you can see that since the warriors were coming in at around 280, that's almost not investing in toughness at all. Same with the warlock, and even at least one of the champions had something like that too. One of them had 315, but he lost 30 wounds and then got healed. And the other, I think, had 280. So they can quickly be downed here by comets. We've yet to see what other kind of heroes that DaddyCool is bringing. We do know that he's not bringing an impressive, but that's all we really know. Oh, it seems to have edged his way past that obstacle. He's going from building to hitting a trap here, revealing himself on the minimap in case DaddyCool is watching. Exhaustion. I don't think you can actually get all the way up. Yeah, you can't, and you will block the path if you want other units to get up there. But moving from building to building and taking the high ground, that seems to be the idea here for Uddhava. Hedge is about to move. You see that he has Armor of Righteousness on him from the red aura around his head. Always a very nice spell to have available, and that's why he's using double War Priest. Actually, let's dull a bit of the boredom and bring that up. Armor of Righteousness, very powerful. Yes, it grants immunity to fear and provokes fear, is almost completely disregarded, but it's also very nice to have, particularly against vampires and, you know, rat ogres and so forth, even the ogre. And then the plus 20%. I saw that the other unit here, Fiddler, was also having that particular boost on him, so they are up to 70% of armor, and that's pretty mean. It's very difficult to take down unless with magic. Here we see Sergeant Whiskey Jack, 280 wounds there, as I predicted here. Hopefully we get to see some action soon. Keeping up with the hiding in buildings, avoiding the presumed comets that are abound. We're already pretty far into the match. I don't know how long this recording has gone on, but with the live editing I can tell you that we are closing in on 1 hour and 35 minutes now. Of pure game time.
A new round has started.
Ah, come on. I wonder if you have space to go up there. No, you don't. You don't want to stand there, because then you will be in the way for all of the other units going there. Could just jump down here though. We're just going to the corner. The corner by the flank. I think you can still bypass the unit there. Yeah, go into that corner indeed. Yeah, I think you can still go after ramp then. With the other marksman, should you so wish it. Both of the players are hiding in buildings, and we see that from... Since no units are revealed, I would have shown you that on the recording. Standing a bit in the way. Most unfortunate. Wow, that was actually a bit odd. I've never seen that before. Did you see that? He has jumped down the ramp. In most games, yeah, I could see that, but not in this game. Not staying out in the open. DaddyCool is playing it a bit smart now. Picking up 9 word stones along the way. I guess, I mean, sometimes you get lucky and you get +3 movement, and maybe that's what he was aiming for.
New round has started.
Even if the unit would have gone up to the statue there, he wouldn't have been able to reach into the range. Very far away. Should have jumped down on the earlier turn instead. Ah, we see Antieluden hiding out here. Together with another novice. I probably want to go and hide in a building, I suppose, again. No? I mean, you could potentially reach them, and they can't really reach you. You could put up some units in front. Alright. Going to try and kill Antieluden. Needs to hit twice here. It's one more try unless you use Master Adrenaline Rush. We saw him have that. Very good spell, this Lightning Strike. Oh, I failed again, a bit unlucky. Let's actually bring that up. Adrenaline Rush for 4th Lightning Strike. So you see it does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage as a base. That's the biggest thing, and it's also very efficient. I mean, Comet of Sigmar does a lot of damage as well, and that costs 2 red pills, and the lightning costs 3 red pills. But since you suffer the Sench Curse, which is minus 15%, plus 15% curse chance after each spell cast, it's even much more efficient to just cast 3 spells or 4 spells with lightning than 5 or 6 comets. It's much less risk that way. So still no kill, but Antieluden is hanging on for dear life with just a few tiny little bit of health left. We can see why she wasn't healed. I mean, if the matriarch went and picked up the icon from Uddhava, then yeah. I think we're about to see battle commence here in a while. Pretty useless ambush. See what other news. I'm just skipping away with DaddyCool's units until they are revealed. Let's see what happens. Lots of maneuvering, many rounds, not much happening. testament of the map itself, and of course players are gonna play like this. They want to win, they want to be careful, they don't want to make any mistakes, particularly not when it's recorded and uploaded for all of you to see. Particularly Uddhava probably wants to improve a bit upon the perception that he might have gotten from his match against Talon. He seems to bait the unit in here, shows himself in the window, then moves far back, hoping someone will go in there. They will be shot. We do see a purifier, top right corner. So that's interesting. So the fear here, wow. Those units are so spread out for DaddyCool. It's like he's the AI. Yeah, I think we're gonna see a few. Still have, yeah, we see the red circle there. Still have an ambushing novice or sister here that's gonna feel. In ambush mode as well now. Yeah. Arya Schultz, 10% armor and 268 wounds. I bet that this unit is not level 10. And probably has some blue gear as well, so really disadvantaged, and that explains the difference in rating here. If I was Uddhava, I would probably have lured that unit out instead. I mean, you're not gonna take too much damage with that kind of warrior. And it's better to put the unit into an engagement and surrounded by all of your warband anyway, so it will definitely die soon. Failed the charge, yeah, you see lots of melee resistance for Uddhava's warrior here. Torlin Scholz. You can see the Purify is fully visible and in the top right corner. We don't know where the Matriarch is right now. She did get a bit of a movement speed boost picking up the icon of Uddhava's warband, but besides that, I think she could possibly have catched up a little bit. We might see her soon, but all in all, they are pretty far apart, and it's going to be easy for Uddhava to just pick them off one by one here. See the distances? And on this map, they are enormous. Gaining momentum, plus 20% hit chance. Grinding down Torlin Scholz, and she can't disengage from that. She's right up against the wall. I think that's a good move. Taking 30 damage from the adrenaline rush, doing 40 damage in return. So Torlin is almost dead. One of the purifiers is at least relatively nearby, so he did bring 2 purifiers. Let's see what the other 2 heroes are. We know that it's not unimpressive. Succeeded at the charge, was good. Oh, that could have been really dangerous. We see that from see, roll melee critical hit chance failed 26, target 20, so that had 20% chance of scoring a critical hit. I don't think Uddhava has resilient on that character. And a low toughness as well, so very vulnerable to be suffering from a critical hit and get stunned. Maybe he has good stun resistance instead. We see that he has a helmet on. Surely helps. See Mallet here. Oh, it would have been wonderful to put down I'll deny the heretic right here. This is gonna be the fighting ground. Putting down a deny the heretic here would do a lot. Okay. Bit more spell damage now from Divine Rage. I wonder what kind of plan he has here. I think that with should have at least cast something. I don't think it was worth it doing that little bit of damage with your leader when you could have done much more. To make sure that you don't take too much damage. Yes, a single deny the heretic could have done much damage here for those two characters. And anyone who wants to move into this fight with minus 15% hit chance and minus 1 red pill. See the light armored champion here. Probably want to go around it. But yeah, I think he might be in a bit of a difficulty. There is an ambushing, yeah, indeed. Continued Arya Scholz. Here we go. Doing quite a bit of damage. Oh, taking a bit of damage in return too. Arya Scholz is doing well. So she has a helmet. That's so she has 10% armor. The helmet provides 5% of those. And what else is 5%? Isn't that just yeah, I think that's just a blue cloth. Paris might have been better with healing. We'll see, because the comets might rate down. And here, wow, the matriarch is really speedy. Maybe she has armor proficient. You see, she looks to be in heavy armor. She can just rain down comets and kill the first champion here, one that's visible. Opts for a little bit of healing. Remember that with the matriarch they have a passive ability that when they successfully cast a spell, the next attack costs 1 red pill less. Very good. So have a round. Let's see if DaddyCool abuses that. Yes, it does. Wow. Divine Rat success. 35% chance might not have brought all of the Divine Rat reduced enchantments with him. Corporal Kalamekar, alright. Wow, there's a lot of damage. Pretty good. And 140, wow, that's really cool. Instant kill. Seems to be like more of a charge build, this one. I kinda like that. Of course you do the most damage on your first hit, so it's important to hit with the two-handed weapon like a halberd. Yeah, did you see that he had... when he did his hit there, he got the hit and run ability. We're gonna bring that up in a while when it comes into effect. Very heavily armored, might want to seek out someone else. Indicates purple armor. Purple armor as well. But light armor in that case for purifier. Oh, a good choice. See, adaptable defense plus 3 melee resistance, and then see, disengage only cost 1, and that's because of the hit and let's bring that up. Hit and run. I like this. It's not a very often used skill. After dealing melee, reduce the cost of this engagement by 1 strength and 1 offense points for the back. So usually it costs 1 blue pill and 2 red pills. Now it only costs 1 red pill for the back. I don't know if you saw that as well. He had a specific enchantment on his head that was also really interesting as a combination. Let's see if I can bring that up. Mark of Escape. So whenever he does get the sheep disengaged here, he gets +3 movement range. So very cool combination here by Uddhava. He seems to put a lot of thought into this without copying anyone, and has developed his own kind of strategy. It will be interesting to follow in the tournament, but you can see that DaddyCool is a bit outmatched, and right here all of Uddhava's team is here. Yeah, really, come on, put down Deny the Heretic now. Ouch. Lost all of the red pills. You should always, when you do your turn like this, think of the initiative ladder and in what order you want to do things. You saw that this champion right here, he went into a parry stance to start healing himself. Why did he go into a parry stance if it was meant by Uddhava all the time to go up with the other champion and kill the damaged unit that opposed him? What is the purpose of the parry stance then? There really isn't any. So you should really have gone into healing and planned a bit more ahead. So it's something to think about. Might see a bit. Oh wow, good. 63. Since Uddhava doesn't seem to be in the immediate danger here, he might actually use Adrenaline Rush after for a 4th lightning strike. Doing a lot of damage here. Yeah, he's gonna use that. That's a good choice. I don't think it will backfire too much. 23% could be worth it. We saw some healing from the Matriarch here by DaddyCool, but remember that when it comes to healing in this game, healing spells, you can never heal yourself with them. There are no healing spells that allow the user to heal themselves. Healing Hand is only targeted on an ally, and the Healing Circle is only for all of your allies around you, but not you. And then we have the Poison Globadier, who has an area healing as well. It's not affecting the Poison Globadier himself, or any other Globadier for that matter, I think. Antiludin is almost dead, so I get why he only wants to go in once. But if you're gonna charge like this, you better have Adrenaline Rush so you can use that and get that second attack off. I don't know why DaddyCool doesn't have that, but it's something to think about for everyone who... You see that Uddhava has definitely thought about that, and you see that Sorry here has Adrenaline Rush available to him. You can fit into that sister there. Doing quite a bit more damage. And a miss. Alright. So still, DaddyCool hasn't suffered too much. It's just one henchman down, and another henchman that's almost down from Antiludin. See a Sister Superior coming up, being really far away as well, and doesn't quite reach this. I think it's possible that she used 4 Sigmar skill to give +2 movement to other characters, so they could actually catch up here. Wow, you can finish off the... Could definitely finish off the champion here. He's a bit hurt. Looking for a good shooting chance. Well, If you could get up there, the top level, that would be a good shooting place as well. DaddyCool's smuggler. Does she find a good shooting? I hope she has... Others are really good to hit. I hope she has enough to reload and do more shooting. And she does not... Oh, that's so poor. That's such a poor use of the smuggler. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. And unfortunately, I think that... Yeah, that is the warrior that's coming up here soon. So he will recover before he gets taken down. Very little space left. This is really the fort of the Sisters of Sigmars usually. You pick narrow roads like this, you block them up with Sister and Novice Henchmen and maybe a tanky Sister Superior. And then you fire into the fight with lots of... lots of firepower from the Comets of Sigmar, for instance, or even from smugglers and maybe some allied marksmen, like we see here. Trying out a land shot, it's minus 10% hit chance. Does land. Probably wish he was a little bit closer right now. Could do a headshot here. I would go for the one that you do most damage on. Can probably kill the matriarch next turn anyway. Might see adrenaline rush being used here to get a third attack. Yes, indeed. Get off aim. Yeah. So took 60 damage here to do 20 damage, but it's alright because this marksman is definitely out of range for most things. I mean, yes, you could probably comet it down, but still waiting for a single comet to be cast, honestly. So, where is that? Risky here, 164, and you're going down to 134. Could also be commented down here. Yeah, we're all of the comments, and we saw that DaddyCool had a big divine bad chance of just casting one or two spells. So he might be focused on casting too many spells here. Most Sisters of Sigmar players build them like that, but might be an exception here. Not doesn't even have sidestep on Torlin Scholz. But you have Prayer of Swiftness. It's a bit odd. Might be an indication that that unit of DaddyCool Torlin Scholz does not have all of the skill points invested into the character yet. I see, this is the Purifier. Why is the Purifier just commenting stuff down? There's virtually no magic resistance in Uddhava's... There we go. Single comment. Much more efficient use. Oh, is it 24% Divine Rat chance after just the first spell? And you have a Sigmar Warhammer on you. Yeah, you're definitely not equipped to cancel those. It's the only defensive stance here. It's available, it's all he has. I don't think the matriarch will be able to see another turn being engaged with the warrior priest as she is. Doesn't need to do much to kill her. It's gonna be a huge blow to DaddyCool's units, who are still catching up to the battle. We don't see all of them here yet. Indeed, that's the other unit that we're missing. The one who's moving right now. Second purifier. Seems to be pretty far off. Ah, there she is. Wow, yeah. Look at that. You see, yeah, it's not the failure I'm focusing on here. I'm focusing on the fact that this Comet of Sigma is not even mastered. 19 damage. It's not even worth casting. I hope that DaddyCool can level up his warband before the next match, or he will find himself in a very rough spot here. There's a massive disadvantage when it comes to mechanical power, and it's what we talked about in the predictions video as well. The side schemes, very much so. Probably want to move away with Sergeant Whiskey Whack yeah, now, unless you want him to die. So do know that one of the purifiers have maximized Comet of Sigma, the other one does not. I haven't seen too many other spells, but it's reasonable to believe that they do have Sigmar's might as well. Wow, I mean, look at this battlefield. Just a single Deny the Heretic can do so much to DaddyCool's units here. It can remove any kind of hope he has. But Uddhava is not falling for it. Or maybe he's not seeing it, or maybe he doesn't even have the spell. I think he has the spell. Who doesn't have the spell? Let's see. A very powerful spell. See a Mastered Web of Steel. The Charger Champion coming up. Does he have any units to kill here? Yes, he does. Just to be careful a bit about... Oh wow, yeah, that's a... And that was the purifier that had a mastered Comet of Sigmar. Can't believe I'm saying this, the one who has the mastered Comet of Sigmar, like... They all should have. Hit and run triggers. Disengage only costs 1, plus 3 moves. So now moving with 9 movement speed. It's a very slick combo. Don't know why he's trying to take that, yeah. He had the opportunity earlier to do so, but he didn't. Now it's a bit late. And Mulch here seems to be focusing on healing. It's not going that well for him. It's not going that well for him with any kind of spells that he casts this game. And that's almost evens it out. Heals 80, takes, what's that, 55 something? Or something around that.
A new round has started.
Damage Warlock coming in. What can he finish off? He can finish off Tool and Shoals. Tool and Shoals is very tempting. We might want to hit the Purify too, but... Is one more hit, and Torlin Shoals is also out. With a strange character, that one as well. No stances, except the normal dodge that you get for free. We're gonna see a route test coming up here for DaddyCool, and remember that he has lost his Matriarch, so it's gonna be one of the Purifier, or the Sister Superior, or the Smuggler making this one. I doubt it's gonna be the Purifier, since she has low leadership. Yeah, fail it anyway. 15 leadership, and it might just has been as well. So a 5-0 victory to Uddhava. Congratulations to you, man, and will be really interesting to see what else you can do in this group. We hope that DaddyCool recovers. He's in a
warrior
easy group.
Needs a bit of luck
so
and a lot of skill to win a battle. But most of all, he needs
strategy. For the next game, and
you have managed to find the winning mixture.
For now.
Now just be careful.